Welcome to week 1 of a brand new season of the Raiders franchise, and year 2 gets to kick off and everything changes today. We have a quarterback showdown. First round quarterbacks Thomas DeShong and Jean-Marc Aldrick, who will be battling for years to come, will be facing up in their NFL debuts. This is a new look Raiders team, new quarterback, new receivers, new offensive line, new defensive coordinator, a brand new offensive scheme to implement. And for the Broncos, they are trying to roll with a brand new quarterback to hopefully take them to a playoff berth. But we're going to try to stop that before it really gets started, as we're going to see who was the better first round quarterback today. And the Raiders' new season is ready to kick off. It is a new era of Raiders football. Broncos, Raiders to kick off the season is right now, as we have Daniel Carlson booting it deep, and it'll be taken by the Broncos, who will run it out and will get brought down right at the 21-yard line, and that is where the rookie quarterback Jean-Marc Aldrick will come out. He is a very much high floor, low ceiling guy, a conservative, reliable, quick release, get the ball out. He's going to probably throw the ball a lot in this Sean Payton offense, and we'll see what he can do in his debut as he hands it off to Javonte Williams, and Javonte gets brought down. Javonte had a massive game against us week 1 of last season, and then here goes Javonte Williams on the first game of this season, trying to do exactly what he did last year as Williams gets brought down, but not before getting all the way to the 11-yard line. And this Raiders run defense is still seemingly going through some struggles as Aldrick throws short, and it's caught only for a gain of 3. But this Raiders run defense was horrendous last year as Aldrick misses a pass. But we brought in Todd Bowles to try to fix that, as that's a sack, and it's Devin Bush, our new acquisition at linebacker. We wanted Bowles to use Bush like he uses Devin White as a blitzer, and that's exactly what he did there, as now Thomas DeShong will come out down 3-0, and DeShong was a shocking draft pick at number 3, very much a project player who maybe shouldn't be playing this early on, but we're throwing him into the fire and seeing what happens. Josh Jacobs took the first down carry for just 2 yards, and DeShong's first career pass is incomplete. Tried to get it to Jaden Sherreau as DeShong on third down tries to step up and run, and he's sacked by Randy Gregory. It's going to be Bronco football as Aldrick throws, and he's got Williams out of the backfield. And down on the play is center Ben Jones for the Broncos. We're going to see if we can exploit that potentially, as right up the middle, we had some pass rush, and of course, as Aldrick to potentially miss that throw as it's 3rd down and 6. Aldrick will throw deep, and it is swatted down. That's Nate Hobbs all over Jerry Jeudy, and they're already going at it with some trash talk. Quick throw on the outside. That's Jaden Sherreau, 2nd-round pick, and will be a starting wide receiver for this team. He handed off Josh Jacobs, and Jacobs will be seeing a lot more carries out of shotgun and pistol this year, as on 3rd down, Sherreau can't hang on. It's going to be a punt, and Sherreau already getting a lot of targets early on, as that's going to be a catch and a 6-yard gain for the Broncos, as Aldrick will throw on against the blitz, and Greg Dolchik has it. New set of downs to the 43-yard line under center. We have Aldrick dropping back, and it's dropped on the play. Quick throw. That's what Aldrick does. Gets the ball out very quickly. When he has time like that, he's going to hold it a bit longer and find Javonte Williams underneath. It's going to be 3rd and 6. Aldrick sets up the screen. Has it. Javonte Williams doing a lot in the pass game, but there's a great tackle. Marcus Peters came in and brought him down, but now we have Thomas DeShong with the fumble. We tried to let him run the football, and on his first career carry, he fumbles it. DeShong was not a guy who fumbled a lot in college for a guy who ran the ball over 200 times, but he fumbles on his first career carry, and that's a great throw, but cannot hang on. Great confidence, though, from Aldrick to fire it into a tight window early on. It's going to be 3rd and 12 after a poor toss play. Aldrick will throw, and that's going to be caught. First down, and that's going to be to the 7-yard line, now spreading the field. It's Aldrick in the gun, throwing, and it's going to be a touchdown. That's the first of his career, and it's to Steven Sims, who's already seen a lot of action this game, as the Broncos may have gotten a bit depleted in their receiving core, but Steven Sims shows that it's certainly not so bad, as we got Josh Jacobs with a stiff arm, and then he gets brought down. Gain of 5, and Deshaun, we'll see if he can bounce back after that fumble. Quick throw outside, that's swatted away. Great defense, as Deshaun now on 3rd down catches the snap with one hand and has to roll out. Deshaun will throw on the run, and there's Jaden Cherew breaking a tackle, and Cherew all the way down to the 29-yard line. And that's a great throw on the run. Deshaun already making a big play in the first quarter of this game. Unfortunately, the run game has not gotten started yet, but Deshaun will throw underneath, and he missed it. Missed his man. That was Josh Jacobs wide open underneath. It's 3rd down and 10, and here goes Deshaun running around again. He's going to throw across his body, and that was almost caught by Cherew. And it's going to be a field goal. It's an impressive throw. Difficult catch to make, but you can see Deshaun is bold. He will make some crazy attempts to throw the football, as Javonte Williams will get an 11-yard run to start the Broncos drive. It's 10-3, and Aldrich playing with the lead is where he plays his best, and that's Javonte Williams breaking a tackle. Javonte Williams has just got the answer for us, it seems. We have not been able to stop him this season. Last season, Javonte breaking tackles, and Williams to the 3rd. He's nearing 100 yards already, as it's going to be play action. Play action is going to be really effective against us, and Aldrich misses Jerry Jeudy. Now 2nd down, play action again, but he's not fooled. Tyree Wilson goes right for Aldrich and gets the sack. We're hoping for a breakout season from Tyree Wilson, as Aldrich on 3rd and long. He'll just dump it off. It's incomplete. And it's going to be a field goal try for the Broncos. Kick on the way. And to kick off the second quarter, the Broncos have a 13-3 lead. Kickoff now will go deep to 4th-round rookie Kalen Shanny. And Shanny takes it out of the end zone, and Shanny will go right. And Kalen Shanny, he's got the speed. Kalen Shanny, he will be caught. He's too fast. Touchdown, Raiders. And the first score of the Raiders season is going to be a kick return touchdown by the 4th-round rookie. And I told you when we picked him, he was going to be an elite return man. He had 5 return touchdowns in his career at Florida. And in his first game in the NFL, he's got one already. Shanny may have flipped the momentum in the Raiders' favor. It's going to be 13-10 as Aldrich hands off to Javonte Williams. But how demoralizing is that got to be? You drive down the field, get a touchdown, just to allow it right back on the kickoff. And that'll be a catch, as the Broncos will set up 3rd and 4. And off the edge, there's Max Crosby. That's a sack. And the Raiders' pass rush is looking a lot better to start this season. We hand off Josh Jacobs, who has not gotten it going. We are running it a lot less from under center, so it's going to take some time for Jacobs to adjust to the new schemes as we throw underneath. And we can still get him involved in the passing game, but it will be no gain, as it'll spread the field. 3rd and 7. Deshaun to throw. Backing up a lot, and he's going to go deep, and that's a dangerous pass, almost picked off. It's going to be a punt, and Aldrich takes over, and Javonte Williams, there's a good play, as we stuff him for 1-yard gain, and they'll go right back to Williams, and he's got a hole up the middle, but there's Gabe Marietta bringing him down. He's still got the 1st down, though, as it'll set up a new set of downs. There's a quick swing, and it's going to be a lot of Javonte Williams all game. Sean Payton likes to use his running backs in the passing game. And you remember what he did in New Orleans with Darren Sproles. As 3rd and 6, it'll be Aldrich to throw once again. Quick drop, quick throw, and it's incomplete, as Marietta was there in coverage. Now we will go on offense. It's going to be Jaden Cherew taking a little pop pass, and Cherew will get 16 yards. And Cherew good after the catch, pretty fast, and the injection of speed helping us out a little bit, as Jacobs will get a 4-yard carry. 2nd down, we go back to Jacobs, and Jacobs will only get a yard. It's been a little difficult. Play action, we're relying on Deshaun to do everything, and Deshaun on the bootleg rolling out, gets a block from Cherew, and Thomas Deshaun has a huge run. And there's the athleticism, the explosiveness that we have not had. And Deshaun, speaking of his explosiveness, has it on the edge. And Thomas Deshaun rushing touchdown. And he ran us all the way down the field. Over 50 rushing yards on 2 plays. And Thomas Deshaun has his first career touchdown. And this is the new look Raiders coming to life. A huge kick return touchdown and big runs from the dynamic Heisman-winning quarterback. And now the Broncos take over, and a shot down the field, that's caught, and it's going to be a huge gain to the 41-yard line. The Broncos don't want to fall behind. This has all the potential to be a scary offense if they can all figure it out and use the athleticism that they are blessed with, as it'll be Javonte Williams on the screen, and he is so difficult to bring down. Javonte takes it to the 21. He'll get a carry on the left side. And Gabe Marietta, the first-round safety, with a good open field tackle. As we have Aldrich to throw, and there's another blitz, and it gets in there. Devin Bush with his second sack. And this is a great set of pass rush that Todd Bowles is cooking up here, as it's going to be fourth down after the drop by Dolchik. And it's going to be a field goal try, and it is good. 17-16 with 3 to go. And the offense takes over. Josh Jacobs. It's been the only thing on this offense that hasn't been successful is Josh Jacobs, who is our best player. So if we can succeed without our best player thriving, it can be really dangerous for what may come in store for this team. Josh Jacobs gets going, but we throw outside very quickly, and that's a catch. Jacoby Myers, don't forget about him. He's still our number 1 receiver. As we go with Shanny, tried to get a little trickery going. It's going to be 3rd and 4 after the stop, and Deshaun will get sacked, and that'll end the half as we just kicked it away and the Broncos ran the clock out. But it has been a fun first half. The stats don't jump off the screen for what we have done, but I mean, that Deshaun drive where he ran it for over 50 yards on 2 plays, it got us into the end zone. A Kalen Shanny kick return touchdown. And the defense has played up and down, but the fact that there are some ups is something to be positive about, as the pass rush has been really good. The tackling needs to get a little bit better, though. But we're taking a halftime lead. That didn't happen last season, so we're excited about that. As let's jump into the second half, where we can see more of this explosive new Raiders team. The second half is here, underway, and it's the Raiders football as Josh Jacobs takes the first touch of the half, as we had not seen any of the other running backs on this Raider roster. As Deshaun will now throw, and there's a catch, Jaden Sharu, and we have seen a lot of Sharu getting the ball thrown his way. Josh Jacobs now on a stretch. This is more what Jacobs was doing last season, as these under center stretch plays. Deshaun, 2nd and 1, will roll left. Can he run for it? No, he'll throw a dangerous pass. 2 guys in the area, and that was a dangerous throw as Deshaun on the QB draw, stuffed. It's 4th and 3, and the offense is staying out on the field. We're getting bold. We're getting risky with the calls. He's going to set up a screen, but he threw it off his back foot, and it's incomplete. And the Broncos take over in great field position, and the Broncos needed this, as Javonte Williams gets stuffed in the backfield. The run defense starting to strengthen a bit, as maybe it took some time to get their footing, as there's Nate Hobbs with another great play on the football. It's going to be 3rd and 12. That's a lot of time. He's going to throw it deep. Aldrich, and it's swatted away. Moehrig. And the defense, the pass defense, has looked pretty impressive so far. Deshaun will try to run an option, as he gets stopped by Randy Gregory, who's played a nice game. And it's 2nd and 12. Deshaun to the air, will throw, and he missed it. He's going to have a lot of those, but he will drop back to throw. And 3rd and 12, he will fire one to Jacoby Myers, and he's going to have a couple of those passes where it's like, that's a really great throw on 3rd down in the face of pressure. As it's 1st down and 10, we go Josh Jacobs on the handoff, and he's playing a bit better in the second half, trying to find his footing in the new offense. As Deshaun will throw, and that's a blitz and sack Baron Browning. And the Raiders now are backed up 3rd and 12. And it's a sack again on the blitz, and it's Baron Browning again. And the Broncos send some quick heat the Raiders' way, and we cannot handle it. The offensive line still is rather weak, as we look to improve it over the coming seasons, as we have a 2nd and 10, and Aldrich with a lot of time to throw, and he's going to fire one over the head of his receiver, but the pass rush of the Raiders slowing down a bit. The offensive line playing better, but not when we send the blitz, and it's going to be an injury for Devin Bush. He's grabbing his shoulder, but Sebastian Joseph Day gets the sack. We get great field position. Jacobs gets stuffed in the backfield. Alex Singleton was there with Baron Browning, as it's going to be play action. Deshaun rolling out, and Deshaun gets sacked. It's Adams getting in there now, as it's going to be 3rd and 14. The pass rush of the Broncos is doing a great job. Deshaun's going to roll. He's going to run for it, and Thomas Deshaun gets out of bounds, but he's got a big run, and another game changer with his legs as Jacobs finds the hole in the middle to get 7 yards. We are in the red zone, and a handoff. That's Jacobs getting to about the 16-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 2. We go read option. It's a triple option. Deshaun breaks a tackle. He flips it out to the rookie undrafted player Josh Moss, and that's a touchdown, Raiders. What a play by Deshaun. He broke the tackle and flipped it out to the undrafted rookie running back Josh Moss, who gets his first career touchdown on his first career run. And that is about as unconventional as it gets, but we have a 24-16 lead as Javonte Williams. It's still a one-score game, so they can't afford to run the ball, as Williams will not have the same success that he had in the first quarter and maybe halfway through the second quarter. Since the second half of the second quarter, we've really played so much better of run defense. Not there, though, as Marietta brings him down, not before a first down, as Aldrich with a new set of downs will throw outside, and Dulcich has it for a 6-yard gain, as we have another pass play. Quick throw, and it's broken up. That's incomplete. 3rd and 4. Aldrich to throw. Quick pass. Incomplete. Missed it. And it's going to be a punt. Raider football, as now we go speed option, and he runs right into Randy Gregory, who's had a great game, as it's going to be play action now. Deshaun to throw outside, and that's a catch. And it's Jaden Sharu. He's had so many looks his way, as Jacobs will get just a yard, but it's enough for the first down. Deshaun back to the air, and that ball just seemed to slip out of his hands, but that's fine. We have a second down, and Deshaun is rolling and firing, and it's going to be a miss. Jacoby Myers was open, and now Deshaun on 3rd down. He's going to bail right again. Rolling, under pressure, in trouble, floats one. Jaden Sharu with the catch. He hung on to it. Surtain leveled him, but it doesn't matter. Thomas Deshaun's a bit of a roller coaster of a ride, as you were sitting there yelling, no, 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 and then when he throws it and heaves it and it's somehow caught, you're saying, yes, yes, yes. I don't know how he's doing this, as Deshaun on 3rd down gets sacked, but the big play sets us up in field goal range. The Broncos pass rush is killing us, but we got another couple of points on the board, and it is a 2-score game. As now in the 4th quarter with 10 minutes to go, we look to hold an 11-point lead as Aldrich to the air, and Aldrich will roll left. He's not much of a mover, and he doesn't go far. Tyree Wilson with his 2nd sack of the game. 3rd and 23. They set up a screen, just hoping to get close to a first down, and Steven Sims does get close. Will they go for it? Ben Jones is down again. They do not go for it. They punt it away, trusting the defense, as there's Kalen Shanny. Tries to leap over a man. He tried to jump over Justin Simmons. And Kalen Shanny's trying to make the most of every touch he gets. Deshaun off his back foot. What a throw. Thomas Deshaun off his back foot just casually launched that ball 60 yards. On 3rd and inches, we cannot convert, but Deshaun is an absolute madman. I cannot believe that's crazy arm talent to just launch it 60 yards off your back foot. But regardless, it does not work. And we give the ball back to the Broncos, who now have a 3rd and 1, trying to put some points on the board to cut it to a 1-score game. They throw quick, and it is caught for a first down. Marietta makes the tackle. And at the 34-yard line, play action rolling to the right, quick throw underneath, and it is caught once again. And it's brought down by Max Crosby. This offense doesn't really have time to move it slow, but the way Aldrich plays, he's just quick throw. He does not take many shots, as it's another dump off to Javonte Williams. It's 2nd and 10. You're running out of time. 4.5 to go. Aldrich, clean pocket, throws it underneath. And it's caught, but not far again. Only a yard, and Mike McGlinchey's now hurt. They're kind of suffering a couple of injuries on the offensive line. They check it down to Javonte Williams again. No gain. Raiders coverage holding up. It's 4th down now. And Aldrich will throw it down the field, and it's swatted away. Marcus Peters. And it's Raider football. And the Raiders defense is doing a great job in the second half. Haven't allowed any points as Jacobs will run through Justin Simmons and get it down to the 34-yard line. Deshaun will go read option. He'll hand it off to Jacobs, and Jacobs gets 4, trying to just run out the rest of this clock as Deshaun on the read option has Surtain in the open field and gets brought down as he tried to, make a move. We might want him to, slide on some of these. We don't want our quarterback getting injured, especially with some of the incredible plays he has made. He has helped us potentially win this game as Colton Miller is down for the Raiders, and that is no good. It's 3rd and 7, nearing the 2-minute warning. We throw outside, it's caught, and it will not be a first down, but we are going for it, and Josh Moss, the rookie undrafted running back, lined up at fullback, and we gave him it, and he has the first. 2-minute warning as we try to just sap away the little time that remains. We are not going to be able to since the Broncos have all their timeouts, but it is going to be an incomplete pass. And Michael Mayer, we have not spotted him much this game. 3rd and 10, Deshaun will go to the end zone, back corner, and it's incomplete for Mayer, but I don't hate that play. He threw it in a position where only Mayer could catch that ball. There was no chance of that ball being picked off, so I can't really hate it. We put the field goal on the board. It's 30-16. Now the Broncos need 2 touchdowns if they want to somehow bring this game to overtime. Javonte Williams once again on a screen has a nice pickup, but we will give this to them. We will let them dink and dunk their way down the field. We just need to survive and, just run the clock out, as we cannot be allowing that, though, as Dulcich down the field. Hurry up by the Broncos. Aldrich clean pocket will throw again to Dulcich, and that's 2 back-to-back really nice plays. Aldrich has put the ball in the air a lot this game, and speaking of a lot of checkdowns to Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams fantasy owners are pretty happy despite what could potentially be a loss in this game with 40 seconds to play, and Javonte Williams once again ducks out of bounds. He gets a couple of yards. 3rd and 5. Aldrich will throw short of Jerry Jeudy in the end zone. 4th and 5. Aldrich this time has Jerry Jeudy. They ran the same exact route, it looks like, and this time they trusted Aldrich to hit it. Onside kick now as the Raiders will recover. CJ Ham picks it up, and the Raiders are going to start the season 1-0. A disastrous season last year, but things are looking up in Las Vegas. Thomas Deshaun was as advertised. He had his ups, he had his downs, he struggled, he made some crazy plays. We've seen his legs. We've seen how reckless he can be. But today it played in our favor. Maybe next week or weeks after it won't. But this week it played into our favor as Thomas Deshaun ran the ball well. Josh Jacobs picked it up in the second half. Jaden Sharew had a massive day. He's seen the ball thrown his way a lot. Gabe Marietta, off the bat, leading the team in tackles, not bad. I felt like he actually was a great tackler. He brought down Javonte Williams in open field a bunch. But as we move on, I think we should maybe get to our first scouting report for the brand new season as we introduce ourselves to some new players. This is your college football update for season 2 of the Raiders franchise, and following Oregon's national championship shortcomings to Clemson. Clemson, of course, will start off number 1 in the polls. Oregon losing their by far best player who essentially carried them there. Will still start off the polls at a respectable number 8. But elsewhere, we have USC at 2. UCLA, despite losing Byron Rohit, is still an incredibly talented roster. I'd argue, quarterback aside, a more talented roster. Georgia at 3, Michigan 5, TCU 6, Iowa State still with a lot of talent. We'll be talking about some of their players this season at 7. We see teams like Alabama all the way down at 14. Washington, who had a big year last year, down at 15 after losing Tristan June and some other guys. Texas A&M, Penn State, maybe some new teams ready to make an impact this year. But on the right side, you can see a big move happened over the offseason for college football, and we have that breaking news for you here. As last year I kind of harped on this for USC, their biggest shortcoming was quarterback. Their quarterback situation was horrendous, and they had Don Shelton go in the first round for the Eagles at number 31 overall, and he wasn't even their number one receiver because they have the best receiver in the country and one of the best receiver prospects I have ever seen, and Raleigh Cordula. But they couldn't make any noise. That was because they didn't have a quarterback. But finally, the transfer portal has answered, as Raleigh Cordula has, coaxed a quarterback into coming over. Ole Miss quarterback Lance Bowen has transferred. And the reason you haven't really heard of Lance Bowen or Ole Miss is because Ole Miss is a bit of a dumpster fire right now, as they struggled a lot and their coaching situation is horrendous. It's to no fault of Lance Bowen, the former 5-star QB prospect who has done the best he can in a struggling situation. But if you do remember a little bit about Ole Miss, Jaden Sherrew was from Ole Miss, so he played with Lance Bowen. So you could see maybe why Lance Bowen was able to elevate Sherrew almost to being a first-round pick, and luckily for our Raiders, we picked him up. But Lance Bowen had a rough go at that team because he really wasn't utilized and allowed to succeed to the best of his abilities. He had every ounce of talent in the world, and he was, kind of brought in. Eli Manning was a big reason why he came to Ole Miss, as the Manning guys have a lot of influence over there. He showed him around campus, kind of said, this is where you need to be, and he agreed, but it just hasn't worked out. So when you get the opportunity to play with the best receiver in the nation, you get the opportunity to play with an elite defense, you get the opportunity to play with the best roster maybe in the country, who's just a quarterback away. I can't blame Lance Bowen. He stuck it out at Ole Miss as long as he could. But we will talk about Lance Bowen a little bit more right now. It's fair to say he's the story of college football early in this season, as week 1 and week 2, you know how the college football season works. It's not the most intriguing of matchups, a lot of non-conference stuff where teams are trying to, feel things out and get a couple of warm-up games in. But as for Lance Bowen, he's going to have to warm up with the best receiver in the nation. Lance Bowen had his struggles at Ole Miss, and I think that is where his biggest weakness comes in, because you can argue, you want a quarterback that can come in and run any offense, do whatever he wants. He is very NFL ready, and he is going to be a first-round player. And I am projecting, it very much says projection. I'm projecting him to be a top pick in this draft because I feel like there's no way with the talent around him he is going to fail. But I could be wrong. We could come back and revisit this at the end of the season, and he fell out of the first round completely because he showed that maybe he wasn't as good as we thought he was. But I am believing in Lance Bowen because what he showed at Ole Miss behind a horrendous offensive line, and Jaden Sherrew was his only weapon, and a coaching staff that had a lot of animosity towards him and, another quarterback on their team, as we're not going to see Ole Miss cracking the top 15 on the polls probably anytime soon. He still threw 29 touchdowns, 12 picks, but they asked him to dial back his biggest strength. He has an incredibly strong arm. He will throw a beautiful deep ball. I'm not just saying day one he is coming in and being a starting quarterback, but I am very much believing he's going to have one of the best deep balls in the league. Russell Wilson-like deep ball accuracy and presence in him to just put the ball on a beautiful spot. It is why someone like Sherrew was able to average the amount of catches and yards per catch he had in college. I believe, if I remember correctly, Sherrew had 70 grabs for 1,100 yards. He is putting the ball down the field pretty nicely. But if you want the negatives, because of his incredible deep ball, he does look to push the ball downfield a little much. He tries to use that arm, he wants to look deep, and as a result of that, it leads into another weakness of his. He holds onto the ball a bit long. He will, look downfield and doesn't sense the pressure as well as he should, but I also feel like that was him trying to create a little too much in a bad situation behind a poor offensive line. I think he'll be able to be a lot more comfortable in the USC offense, where he's allowed to just be himself. So he is the biggest player with the range of outcomes. He could be completely shattered after his time at Ole Miss and just fall apart. USC could be a disaster this year, and poor Riley Cordula still won't get his quarterback, and Ole Miss, slides out of the top 10 for the second straight year, despite all the high expectations. Or Lance Bowen can do everything that we expected him to do at Ole Miss when he came in as a 5-star prospect and be the great player that we think he can be. If you want the NFL comparison, it's Matt Stafford. You see Matt Stafford came in as the number 1 overall pick, incredibly strong arm, great deep ball thrower, NFL ready, but he had his struggles. He tried to make the best of a Lion situation that was not too great. And Lance Bowen was trying to make the best out of an Ole Miss situation that just ain't great. And whatever team he goes to in the NFL probably won't be that great either if you're picking that high, if he is going that high. Again, projection. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he'll be the top quarterback in this class, but we will see as we move on to our next player. It is Texas A&M tackle Gale Dell. As you've seen, Texas A&M was starting the season in the top 15 as they brought a lot of their players back. And, after an incredible sophomore season, which Gale Dell played, he is an interesting prospect because of his insane potential as a pass blocker. I truly believe that strength at the top is true. I think he could be an all-pro caliber pass blocker, but I had to emphasize pass blocker because I can't say just tackle as a whole. Run blocking needs to get better. He is a little undisciplined in his run blocking. He basically will never hold when he's pass blocking, but when he gets into the run game, he'll be a little lost, he'll hold a bit, he'll struggle. I'd say average at best at run blocking, at least for now. But he's an elite pass blocker, and he will shut down the biggest and the best that the college football scene has to offer. I wanted to highlight a game he had last season against Orlando Skies. If you remember, Orlando Skies went 11th in the draft this past season. He shut him down. 0 hits, 0 sacks, 0 pressures, locked up. And I said the weakness with Orlando Skies was if he got into a lineman, like if a lineman got hooked onto him, he wasn't letting go. Gale Dell was the guy who made everyone see that and probably knocked him out of the top 10 as Orlando Skies failed to show in that big game. Dell locked him up, and he did that with everybody. He didn't allow a single sack. He is great. But another issue comes when he's only played right tackle in his career. And typically when you have a great pass blocker, you want him on the left side, you want him protecting your QB's blind side. He'd be a phenomenal blindside blocker if he's played on the left side. I mean, the only blind side he's protecting is Tua. I mean, if he gets a left-handed quarterback, I mean, that's a dream scenario for him. The Dolphins would be a great fit, but he hasn't played on the left side, and teams are going to want him to, and we don't know if he can transition to that. But he has the skills as a pass blocker to where if he can translate to the left side, he's going to be phenomenal. I give him a potential grade of an A- because, again, he could be an all-pro caliber pass blocker. Even if he's just a decent run blocker, that's still incredible value from a player who can help your team out a lot in the passing game. It's just a matter of, can he transition to the left side like some NFL teams would want him to? And can he, cut down on the holds on offense when he's, running the football? If I wanted to give a comparison, this is strictly a comparison of a player who he could become as a pass blocker, and that's Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari, one of the best pass blockers for a long time in Green Bay, and I think he has that level of an upside as a pass blocker. Now, it remains to be seen his run blocking. It remains to be seen if he can transition to the left side. But best case scenario, you're getting David Bakhtiari. Worst case scenario, you're still getting a great pass blocking right tackle. I think that he is worthy of a first round pick because there is a lot to like here and there is a lot of upside to be had. You could be getting a franchise tackle for years and years to come. And how about our final player, the fiery, feisty little pit bull corner, Tim Wyrick of the national championship winning Clemson defense. I said that this defense is going to have some more players, and he is probably the best one coming out this year, as that late first round projection unfortunately is not an indictment of the type of player he is. It is the player that he could struggle to become in the NFL due to his size. He's a 5'9", 177-pound corner, but he don't play like it. He plays big, he acts big, and he makes big plays. He will come into the NFL, and I have no doubts, at the very, very least, will be an amazing nickel corner. At the very least, I think you're getting a guy who we are familiar with. Nate Hobbs. I think you're getting an elite nickel corner. I think you're getting an amazing player there. But obviously, if you're taking a corner really high in the draft, you want him matching up on the number 1 receivers. You want him going against the best of the best. And he's never had to do that in his college career because he's been next to Arwell Gannady on the outside, whenever he has had to play outside. Arwell Gannady was the guy who always shut down the number 1 receiver, so he's always had to play the number 2 or he's played the nickel. This year, we'll get to see him against some number 1s, but even then, they're going to prefer to keep him in the nickel as he can hold up well on the outside despite his size. And that's, I think, a positive because you would expect a 5'9" corner to just struggle. And he doesn't struggle. Like I said, he plays bigger than his size, but there's limitations there. You match him up against T. Higgins, you throw a jump ball to him, there's not much he can do. He's just small. And I think that there's a lot of worry in the NFL for a guy like him because there's going to be some receivers he just can't match up against. And there's just going to be some situations that he's not going to be able to thrive in. But again, at the very least, you're getting an elite nickel corner who he's elite everywhere in the nickel except his tackling. Again, he tries. He will throw himself at you. But, he's not the strongest. He's pretty easy. He's not going to be tackling Derrick Henry. But when it comes to coverage, instincts, knowing where to be, when to be there, everything, he has that. When it comes to the willingness to play outside, he has never shied away from taking a number 1 receiver. He just hasn't been asked to. If we want the comparison, I think of Antoine Winfield. And I'm not talking about the guy on the Buccaneers, Antoine Winfield. I'm talking about his father, Antoine Winfield Sr. of the Minnesota Vikings, who was a 5'9" corner, under 200 pounds, played bigger, made plays on the football, and was just a fun guy to move around. And, he could play, outside, he could play inside. And I don't know what the future says for Tim Wyrick as a potential safety. He's never really been asked to play safety that much. I don't think he'll be a safety. He seems pretty set on playing corner, and I think that's where he's going to be best at. But, again, it's a beware of size. I would not throw him against a T. Higgins, a Mike Williams, a Mike Evans. I would not throw him against those guys, but he has every cover skill, you could want, and everything that is, I guess, within his control, he's great at. It's just a matter of size, and that's probably why he's not going to be a top pick, unfortunately, but he has the production, he has the talent, he has everything you want, and Tim Wyrick's going to be a fun player in this league wherever he goes. But that'll do it for our scouting report. A lot of excitement for USC this season, and I'd say a lot of excitement for our Raiders. Unfortunately, though, injury suffered. Divine Diablo was injured this past game because of a preseason injury, and Devin Bush is now also injured, our new signing. Both of our linebackers are out, so we are going to go to free agency to pick one up to hopefully fill in for a few weeks. But aside from that, things are looking up. Things are looking interesting next week. In next episode, we will be simulating the Chargers game, and we will be playing on the road against the Cleveland Browns. But we will see how this season turns out for our Raiders. But ultimately, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like the new look Raiders. I hope you are happy with how this team is looking, and Jordan Hicks will be the linebacker we sign. But we will see you in the next episode when we take on the Cleveland Browns.